Hey guys, it's your buddy Doomy here. We're going to be talking about something quite serious actually. It's baby trapping. I found after going down a rabbit hole, whether it's for financial gain or control, there is an immense amount of people trapping partners into having children with them. We're going to go through real life accounts of people that were trapped by their partners. I'm going to keep their identities anonymous, but regardless, the stories are just as traumatizing to hear. I'm going to go through story number 1. Hey, all, I just want to say this has unfortunately happened to me. I started hanging with a girl, and not to sound rude or anything, but it was just for the sex. This was made clear between the both of us that we were just having sex, though, with absolutely no intention of getting pregnant. And of course, she told me that she was on birth control, which was a lie. I'm very foolish for not realizing sooner, but she had lied since the very beginning to me. She had every intention of getting pregnant and no intention of telling me. I didn't know I was a father until she was about 6 months pregnant and finally decided to tell me that I was going to be a father against my will. I cared for this woman, I really did, and I still do, despite the fact that she has ripped my soul from me. But the fact that she lied, the fact that my child was born based upon lies, and more lies just hurts very bad. I wake up every day and I have to live with the fact that my baby girl has a mother capable of such evil. I really wish I could give my daughter a better home than what her delusional mother is. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds or home I need for my daughter. She also lied to me about getting an abortion. She made me feel terrible for it. She made me feel terrible for it. She said that her fake abortion was the worst thing that she's ever been through, and that she never wanted to have to go through it again. I don't really know how to live anymore. I resent myself more than ever, and it hurts so bad I live with this every day. I love my child, but it's very hard when you never wanted children to begin with. I've been through a lot of rough times, but honestly, I don't think I could ever get hurt worse. But honestly, I don't think I could ever get hurt worse than this. Jesus. That heartbreaking. Okay, so the reason I decided to go down this rabbit hole is because I was just kind of looking into actually sports related custody battles and stuff like that, but I ended up coming down a baby trap rabbit hole, so here we are. This is happening to me. She had been with other men recently and told me she was on the IUD, so I assumed because she hadn't been pregnant in several years, even while not using protection, that she actually had an IUD. I feel so incredibly stupid for trusting this person, and I am not sure if this was done solely for us being together or for financial support. This should be illegal. Now, I also believe that it should be illegal that if you are baiting somebody and you told them that you were on birth control, but you are not actually on birth control, and you allow them to share DNA with you, that should be illegal. All right, next comment here. I thought I was the only one who had been trapped with an unplanned baby. What you're explaining here is exactly what happened to me, but for my side, she was taking injection the first time we met. After 2 or 3 months, we started arguing because she was not giving me a break to be alone. Now remember, we were not dating, but now she was acting as if we were. Okay, fine. After arguing, she decided to stop using injections and without telling me, so it happened. I C-word inside of her because I know more she is. Wait a minute. So it happened. I C-word inside of her because I know she is on injection. Few weeks later, she told me she was pregnant. I asked her how come because she's taking injection. She couldn't explain that, so I asked her if she can at least have an abortion because at the time I was so broke. And she said something that made me feel so bad for myself. Then I let it slide just deep down. I'm so grounding even when it comes to me, I feel like punching her in the face because I hate her so much right now. I am kind of being forced to be with her because she threatened to post in her social media bad stuff about me. I wish there's someone out there who is dealing with stuff like this to help men because we are so grounding as men out there and there is nothing that we can do all the way from Cape Town. I can understand why that would be completely frustrating because you want to do the right thing for your baby and you obviously know that like it takes two to tango, but unfortunately this does not seem like it was a consensual decision, which a baby literally should be. It should be a consensual decision. Shouldn't be something where you're trying to trap somebody or you're trying to get financial gain, or I just don't understand why babies have to come into the world because their parents are being selfish. This happened to my friend. They were hooking up, not dating, and never would, but he wore a condom, and then a few months go by, he gets a message from her saying that she's pregnant and that it's his because she told him She was ovulating a week after and didn't want to use Plan B, adoption, or an abortion. And the problem with the situation, too, is that she does not work by choice and doesn't drive also by choice. And is horrible with her money, basically broke. And she had told him that he can totally walk away from the situation completely because, regardless of who she slept with, and that she's always wanted to be a mom and felt like it would make her more responsible. But my friend, for some reason, doesn't have any sort of feelings for the child. He wasn't there when he was born. She also was smoking cigarettes and smoking weed while she was pregnant. And now my friend is just in his head because he wants to leave but wants to pay child support. And when he's mentally stable, he wants to be in his child's life. That's why it's so important to have the conversations literally before you get pregnant. Having a baby is not going to fix your life. The baby is actually going to make it a lot more complicated, and then you're going to be ruining a baby's life. So, next comment. The same sort of thing happened to me. She lied about birth control and lied about getting an abortion just to have a baby. It's been nearly 3 years, and I've never been closer to offing myself. That is the saddest thing ever. Another reason why we need to start talking about men's mental health and start highlighting these things, because this is going on at such an alarming rate, but something needs to be done, and we need to figure out how can we stop unwanted babies from being born? How can we stop people's lives from being ruined because of shitty decisions made by people? And people that can't take accountability, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. You said everything I feel, especially when you say it ripped your soul out. The girl that did that to me knew for 1.5 years before she got pregnant. I was in college and had told her I didn't want children out of wedlock and wouldn't have sex till marriage. I want to make sure I was emotionally, spiritually, and financially prepared to have a child. We never had sex until one night. Me and my roommate had a barbecue football party. She got me drunk, convinced me she was on birth control, so we had sex. I knew right as I came she was pregnant because she was on top, and as I came and tried to pull out, she clamped her hips down, preventing it, and giving me some my legs cramped up bullshit. Plus, she had a very creepy, excited delirium look on her face. I knew it. That was it. She stole my DNA. I was literally sick to my stomach. I became a shell of a person. It ripped my soul out of my body. Plus, coincidentally, this was at the end of November. My graduation was 7 months away in May, so the due date was 2 months after graduation. Also, I was experiencing such a range of emotions, from depression to sadness to anger. When this happened, I was attending college, working 40 hours a week at FedEx, paid for my college, so I had $0 in school loans when I graduated. In fact, I had saved $15K to use a down payment on a house. I would get to work from 5 to 5:30 and work till the afternoon, then go straight to school and not get home till 9 to 10. This really effed me up emotionally, because to me, doing things I never thought I would do. 2 months after finding out she's pregnant, I went to my doctor for a back strain. He gave me Oxycontin. Unfortunately, it helped bring my now raging emotions from a full-blown 10 down to a 2 or 3. Unfortunately, I found myself needing this medication. I found myself needing this medication to keep my sanity, so I became an addict. Nice. Man or woman, when you are trapping people into having babies, you are 100% contributing to this mental health crisis that we have. Trapping people into having babies because you think it's going to fix an issue or because you need financial gain. There are people that just want to collect stamps, whether it's a check from in assistance. They're just having baby after baby and collecting assistance, and it's just absolutely ridiculous at this point. There are actually also women getting trapped with babies. How many of us were born because we got trapped? And maybe that's why we've seen our parents very unhappy. Maybe they weren't really honest about how they were conceived. And it makes me question exactly how often does this stuff happen. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and read an account from a woman on a woman's side. My daughter's daddy failed to use birth control before unexpectedly putting his naked penis into my fertility rich vagina, and boom, I became pregnant. Talk about a baby trap. Please note that I never got the chance to affirmatively consent to or grab my handful of birth control methods to prevent pregnancy. Secondly, I did not want a kid at the moment either, but here I was, sore, sensitive breasts, peeing frequently, constantly sleeping, and my favorite 24-hour nausea and throwing up. And a whining, angry, threatening baby daddy that blamed me for his failure to follow the rules. While I did not want to be pregnant, I decided to have that baby. I was 34 when she was born and nearly died from high blood pressure issues during a horrible labor. Pregnancy is not for the faint of heart. The baby daddy eventually accepted that he was going to be a daddy. When she was born, he turned to mush and loved that tiny squirming critter wholeheartedly. He could have turned his back on her, but he didn't. I have no respect for women that deliberately become pregnant. It is wrong. But regardless of how the wee one gets here, both parents must put the kiddling first. Both parents need to financially support their child. You need to understand that there is a consequence, that if something gets fertilized, you have to live with that. Now, unfortunately, in this day and age, it seems like everybody is using abortions as birth control. Over 90% of women are using abortions because they were financially ready, because they didn't have the right partner, because whatever. Over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of babies are being lost. And essentially, it is because of situations like this. Now, it's the situations where the baby trap actually doesn't work, where they end up actually getting an abortion. And unfortunately, continues to contribute to these statistics that are incredibly scary. Now, with that being said, guys, I just want to thank you so much for tuning into this video and hanging out with me. Make sure to drop a like, make sure to drop a follow. Take a look at my other social media accounts as well. You'll find them in the link in the description. And make sure to take care of yourselves until next time, guys. I love you, Doobie fam.